Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to the shop. Welcome to the start of a new series. This is going to be roughly a maybe four-part series. And it's going to be about my forge build. The reason why this is needed is because when I wasn't in this building, I had a coal forge and I had a tiny propane forge. And I used a tiny propane forge when I wasn't going to be doing something that required me to light the coal forge, because it's a fairly big undertaking and requires you to do a lot of things. So it was a little bit more economical sometimes, and when you're doing 2 to 3 hour sessions while the child is napping, it's fairly nice. When I got in here, I thought that would suffice as a chimney, and that is just a vent, for lack of a better word. It's a ceiling vent, and I thought I can connect up to that and it would vent out and all of that would be fine. Little did I know that there's a thing called regulations, that would require my chimney to be roughly 30 feet tall, because my house is right next door and it's a 2-story house. So coal forge had to go. It's sad, but it is necessary, and that's the case. This is my propane forge currently. It is literally a 2-brick forge. It's made out of just yield standard hard fire brick, and I drilled a hole down the center and a hole on the side. This is right side up, and the hole just goes in there, and it creates a decent amount of heat. Now, because it's hard fire brick, it doesn't heat up as quickly, nor as hot as soft fire brick. If you notice, I welded the edges so that the edges are nice and tight, and the bricks, even if they do crack, they're not going to come apart. And it's forge welded. I have forge welded buckles and tiny things in there, but I can't put a sword in there. And I have made a knife, but the one that you've seen about that long with the copper bolster, that was actually made, and there's a majority of that in the propane forge. But let's face it, there's no swords, there's going to be no breastplates, there's no gauntlets, there's no armor. None of that can fit in there. So because I can't have my coal forge, and because I can't fit much in that, that means that I had to build something bigger. And so this design is based off of a lot of the stuff that I've seen off of Winco's website. I'll link down in the description below. And that's where I got all of my refractory. That's where I got my ribbon burner refractory, and where I got the infrared coating that I'm going to be putting on all of that. Visit his website, buy the stuff. When I did my research, his name was the one that came out on top for stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He's built multiple of these. So that's where I went. There are people out there that sell fully fledged ribbon burners. They did not come in the sizes that I needed, and if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, you'll understand that I have no money. So in that, it was cheaper for me to spend $60 on the refractory and then salvage steel to make my own than to spend the money to have one made by professionals who probably knew what they were doing, and it may actually work, which mine has yet to be tested. So we will see. With that, the series is going to be this video, which is going to be the building of the base and the basic outside. There's going to be more stuff on the outside that I'm going to add to it. And then we're going to have the plumbing and the entire ribbon burner setup, which is going to be running off of a blower that I salvaged off of a coal forge. Well, was salvaged off of a coal forge. I didn't do it, but somebody did. And I bought that one decades ago, a while ago, long time ago. So I'll have all the plumbing. And then the final video, the third video, is going to be the refractory, the coatings, all of the insulation going inside, and a couple of bees and bobs and stuff that I want to make sure, and pretty much putting everything together. I'm hoping to have it up and running after 3 videos. There will be other stuff that I add to it. I am planning to do lots of different things. Probably the coolest thing is I am going to be adding fans to the front. to hopefully eliminate the dragon's breath effect. I do have a fairly small shop. This is going to be a fairly big propane forge, and I don't want it burning in my butt. So, there's a video that I saw on YouTube, and I wish I could link to it, but for the life of me, I have no idea what it is. But a gentleman was talking about his forge, and he just basically put Yield's standard fan in front. I'm going to be doing something a little bit fancier than that, but that's essentially the idea. Is you take a fan, you create a curtain of air that goes up in front of the blower, and lo and behold, you have a all that hot fire's breath goes up into the ceiling. It doesn't eliminate the heat, obviously, but it does keep it from shooting outside the forge. And in theory, you'll have the forge here, and you'll be able to put your hand almost right in front of it, and you'll feel warmth, but you won't get toasted. As of right now, you will get toasted. So that's the plan. There's doors, there's levers, there's all kinds of fancy stuff that I plan on doing with this to make my life more convenient. Those will not be in these 3 videos. I ultimately just want to get it up and running so I can do completion of some of the other videos that's been sitting on the shelf, like the sword, like the tongs. Those are still on my list. So yeah, also want to let you guys know that I have decided for what I'm going to do for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I am going to give away a sword, a full-fledged, fully forged sword. And shape, size, I haven't really decided 100% yet. It's going to be a video to come. Obviously, 1,000 subscribers, I'm not there yet. But like, share, and subscribe, please. The more people that come, the more people that subscribe, the more people share, the closer to that's going to happen, and the chances you have of winning it. So if you want a free sword, make sure I get to 1,000 subscribers, and I will make sure that happens. All right? So I hope you enjoy this build, and again, this is video part 1 of possibly 3. So I look forward to your comments, and by all means, if you have any questions, please ask them below, and enjoy. See you on the flip side. Here is my forge. You've seen it in the background in a couple of my earlier videos. I've actually been building it a while. To show you what it is, I'm gonna have to find that later. All right, so right up here, it is essentially 2 balloon time helium tanks with a spacer that I studiously spot welded. And if you look here, this is where the burner is going to go. So this, oh Jesus, that's heavy, is my burner. So as you can see, it's got a nice little ribbon burner here. This has not been cured yet, but it is definitely dry. It's been sitting in the shop for almost a month now. So the reason why I chose to go ribbon burner is after lots and lots of research, ribbon burner seems to be the quietest and most efficient. As you can tell, this is not a small forge. It is, I have no idea how many distance down. 2 feet, I'm gonna guess. Which I have no idea what that is in millimeters. But I haven't actually measured it. I just made it with the materials that I had in hand. And the idea is that predominantly it's going to be used to make normal stuff, knives, furniture for knives, and then the occasional sword. And the thing about swords is that I'm going to actually have pass-through on the back, and I wanted it this long that I can get a nice even heat for the majority of the sword. Because again, most swords are about 36 inches long. Give you a comparison. This is my sword that I'm working on, that you've seen me work. And we've got an extra foot. So, yay, balance everything on the handle. Yeah, so we've got about that much hanging off. So I'll be able to pass it through. I'm also going to build a heater, insulation system that comes on the back that I may have a separate burner on, so when I want to do some heat treating or something else along those lines. I don't know. That's the thought. So process that you're going to see, I'm not going to talk a lot because it's going to get loud and this is just a lot of time consuming stuff. But I am going to cut this sideways. So it's in two pieces. And I am going to attach together using some door hinges that are cooling off in the old propane forge right now. Grab them, they're hot. But some old doorknob hinges. These are literally door hinges that I'm going to weld to the sides. There's going to be two in front, two in back. And the reason for that is that when I need to work on something that is really, really large and it can't fit through the front or anything else like that, I can literally pop the two pins off either side and then lift the whole thing up and make it larger. So it's basically going to be modular. The base is this. This is my little rolly cart. It is a Harbor Freight rolly cart. I have bolted all the bottom together like normal. It's not using the traditional Harbor Freight wheels. If you'll notice, it actually has locking wheels. And the reason for that is that while I do want my forge to be able to roll around for when I teach classes and such, I do not want it to roll around when I don't want it to roll around. And the traditional wheels that came with it were just these cheapo plastic casters, which have crappy bearings in them. I mean, the other wheels are from Harbor Freight too, I'll be honest. And that's what it is. So I'm going to cut that in half. I'm going to weld the bottom half to the cart. The top calf is going to be free floating, so I can raise it up and down. And I'm going to be welding other bits to the cart as well. All right, so what you saw me do here was fix the front. So you can see that there's a plate that runs all along here, okay? That plate, that's where I'm gonna put the door mounting system. My intention was to do a counterweight door mounting system, and that way I have a nice thick plate to mount it onto instead of this really, really thin stuff. Because if you look right here, this stuff is not thick. It's the same dimensions as a propane bottle, which is the reason why I used it, because it doesn't explode, but it's not very thick. So I'm going to be mounting a bunch of stuff here, so I welded this plate on here, and I was cleaning up this edge so that it looks a little bit better. As you all can tell, I'm a pretty crappy welder, but it is a really, really thin, so it takes a lot of effort not to blow through it. And but I'm actually going to go with a pulley door system similar to Purgatory Ironworks. So I'm going to go with the pulley door system similar to Purgatory Ironworks. Now, if you don't want to build your own forge, I'll be honest, that forge is awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. If I wasn't all the way through this and poor, I'd probably buy one. Not affiliated. They have no idea. I'm way too tiny for them to care, but his forge is awesome. So I highly encourage you guys to buy that one if you can, and just because it's how it's built. So I am definitely borrowing the idea on the pulley door system. Everything else I pretty much am already doing. So yeah, the cart, the up and down system, all of that I'm pretty much already doing. The pass through, although mine is like 4 times as big as his, but still, for almost $2,000, that is a friggin' awesome forge. So yeah. Next step is going to be welding on those pieces, and my glasses are all fogging up. Welding on those pieces, and then cutting out the rest of it. So yeah, stay tuned. In case anybody is curious, a striking anvil makes a very poor seat. It's cold and it's pointy.